Every morning before your feet even touch the ground, you check your phone. You scroll through notifications, chasing goals, juggling expectations. You tell yourself, if I just do more, earn more, become more, one day I'll make it. But what if that idea, the constant striving, is the real deception? What if the life you're carefully constructing is not freedom, but a trap? A beautifully decorated cage built from distractions. You're not failing at life. You're simply succeeding at a game that isn't yours. Modern life sells us promises, happiness, purpose, success. But beneath the polished routines, curated feeds, and life hacks, there's a quiet discontent, a feeling that no matter how much we accomplish, it never truly satisfies. We call it ambition, but it feels like anxiety. We call it growth, but it feels like exhaustion. Most people aren't living, they're merely staying busy. Our systems, education, economy, and culture, all preach the same message. Your value lies in what you produce. You must earn your place in the world. So, we perform, we smile, scroll, pretend. But deep within, the soul knows something's missing. The symptoms begin to surface: burnout, emptiness, addiction, despair. These aren't signs of failure, they're signals, warnings that the system we trust is broken, and more importantly, that we've become disconnected from ourselves. This isn't motivation. It's a mirror, a call to stop, to listen. Because the greatest danger isn't suffering, it's not knowing why we suffer. Carl Jung once said the true threat isn't evil, but unconsciousness. And that's where we are now, restless, successful, and profoundly lost. There was once a time when life wasn't about racing upward, but about rooting downward. Success meant being connected to your land, your craft, your community. You belonged. You knew who you were, not because you proved it, but because you lived it. But then something shifted. First slowly, then all at once. The Industrial Revolution replaced the village with the factory, the elder with the boss, the ritual with the routine. And with that, a new message took over. You are not enough until you prove it. This wasn't just progress. It was a myth being built alongside machines. It told us that fulfillment lies just beyond the next promotion, the next purchase, the next milestone. That if you worked hard enough, you'd earn your worth, not as a birthright, but as a transaction. The qualities that made us human, creativity, presence, spiritual depth, were rebranded as inefficiencies. In their place, productivity rose like a new religion. The world became faster, noisier, more connected, and somehow more isolating. We confused motion with meaning and speed with purpose. We stopped asking, "Who am I?" and started asking, "What am I worth?" Carl Jung believed every culture is built on a hidden story. A deep myth we forget is even a myth. In the modern West, that story is this: your value is outside you. Your identity must be earned. Your self is a project to optimize. This is the root of the modern lie. It's so common we stopped questioning it. So flattering, we started believing it. But beneath the surface, it quietly severs the soul from the self. And the cost of that disconnection is enormous. The most powerful lies are not the ones forced on us, but the ones we come to believe on our own. In modern life, we don't just live under pressure, we live in disguise. From a young age, we're taught to perform, not to be real. Sit still, be productive, smile. And slowly, we begin to measure our worth by the reactions we get. We start to split. The parts of us that don't fit, sensitivity, slowness, rebellion, are pushed aside, hidden away. Not because they're wrong, but because they're not rewarded. This is how the shadow forms. Not from evil, but from all the parts of us we've been told are unacceptable. As we try harder to succeed in the world, we bury more of who we really are. This constant performance becomes fuel for modern life. We hustle, not just for money or status, but to feel whole. Yet the more we perform, the emptier we feel. Because we're not being seen, we're being approved of. And there's a difference. One feeds the soul, the other feeds the mask. Over time, our minds adapt to this system. We begin to believe that we only matter if we're producing something, achieving something, impressing someone. We chase tiny hits of reward, likes, promotions, praise, while underneath, fear hums quietly. Fear of being nothing without the mask. Fear of being seen and rejected. Fear that if we stop performing, we'll disappear. This isn't just psychology, it's survival. A strategy that works, until it doesn't. Until the soul, silenced for too long, begins to scream. You don't need to search far to feel the effects. They're everywhere. In your schedule, in your inbox, in your mirror. You feel it when rest feels like guilt, when stillness feels like failure, when busy becomes a badge of honor. The lie doesn't shout. It whispers, "You are what you accomplish." The modern world is full of invisible compulsions. The twitch to check your phone for no reason, the inability to sit in silence without reaching for a screen, the discomfort that creeps in when things get quiet, when you're alone with yourself. We live in a world where everyone is connected, yet no one is fully present. Conversations feel rushed, distracted, transactional, because presence doesn't produce, and productivity is what we worship. Even pleasure has been rebranded. Hobbies become side hustles. Vacations turn into content. Intimacy becomes something to display. Everything is turned into a performance, a product, something to be shared, liked, or monetized. We call it freedom, but deep down, we know it's not. We've traded depth for speed, connection for convenience, and meaning for metrics. And yet, no one says anything. Because this is the only world we know. To question it feels ungrateful. We have comfort, access, endless choice. But choice without meaning is noise, and comfort without connection is numbness. Carl Jung believed the soul speaks in symptoms, not just in words, but in anxiety, in fatigue, in restless nights. These aren't signs that you're broken, they're signs that you're misaligned. Because your soul wasn't built for this. It wasn't made to be optimized or branded. It was made to be lived. So what happens when a whole culture forgets what it means to be human? When people become parts in a machine? The systems we live in, education, work, relationships, start to reflect the same lie. In schools, creativity is praised only when it fits a rubric. Children are taught to chase grades, not wonder. In workplaces, exhaustion is celebrated, and rest is something you apologize for. Even love becomes a performance, profiles, filters, highlights. This isn't just individual stress, it's a collective sickness, a society of people who are constantly performing and rarely truly seen. Carl Jung warned that when a society worships the mask, it breeds disorder, because culture is the reflection of our shared inner life. And when that inner life is fractured, the outer world begins to crack too. We've built our world on disconnection. Systems that look strong on the surface, but feel hollow underneath. And now, those systems are breaking. Not because they've failed to function, but because they've forgotten what it means to be human. Beneath all the noise, there's a quiet question echoing inside so many people. Who am I when no one's watching? Modern life rarely gives you space to answer that. Authenticity doesn't fit into a to-do list. It doesn't gain followers or generate profit, so we hide it. Most people live as fragments, only showing what's acceptable, only sharing what's rewarded. They shape themselves to fit roles, algorithms, expectations, and in time, they forget who they were before the performance began. This is what Jung called inauthentic living. It doesn't always look like collapse. Sometimes it looks like a perfect life with a hollow center, a smiling face with a silent ache, a busy schedule filled with tasks, but empty of truth. That feeling isn't failure, it's disconnection. It's your soul reminding you, you weren't made to be a copy. But being real comes with risk. To take off the mask is to risk rejection. To speak the truth is to stand out in a world that rewards fitting in. And yet, the longing remains. To be whole, to be known, to just exist. The journey back to yourself isn't dramatic. It's quiet. It's not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. The anxiety, the burnout, the numbness, these aren't flaws. They are messages, warnings, invitations. Awareness is the first step, to see clearly what's been hidden. But awareness alone isn't enough. It must lead to integrity, the courage to live aligned with what you now know to be true. That might mean letting go of old roles or facing discomfort. It might mean disappointing others so you can stop disappointing yourself. You may lose illusions, you may lose people, but what you gain is priceless. Alignment. A life where the outside matches the inside, where peace replaces pressure, where depth replaces noise. The greatest lie of modern life is that you are incomplete, that you must become more. But the truth, the quiet, terrifying, freeing truth, is that everything you need is already within you. This isn't a path of addition, it's a path of uncovering, and once you begin to see clearly, you can never go back.